Cutter's Degrassi Unpopular Opinions. Hey there, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter and welcoming you to another Degrassi video. And today we take a look at Emma. Is she a real feminist or is she basically a fake one? Now, this is not really an unpopular opinion. This is more like a hot take, just to warn you. So I'll put in the description warning it's a hot take more than anything else. Just to let you guys know that this is a very popular opinion in the Degrassi Reddit community. And the person who wrote this wrote about 2 weeks ago. For context, this is being taped on January 22nd, 2021. So Coco said, for a feminist, Emma really seems to put women down a lot. And Livian says, she's like a borderline second wave feminist who doesn't get sex. Positive third or / fourth wave feminist. I don't know what Livian means. A borderline second wave feminist. Claudio said, for example, Manny's abortion. So let's talk about that. So basically, in the Manny, Ashley, Craig love triangle in season 3, basically there was a lot of problems. Craig ended up dating both Ashley and Manny at the same time, which a guy should not do. And basically, they both dumped Craig off. And Craig is upset, but Craig basically had it coming. But then Craig gets Manny pregnant. It's not known if the tryst on Emma's bed was how Manny got pregnant. But maybe it was before or after. I don't know what the timing was. But basically put, Manny's pregnant and all that. She screws up at a spirit squad or a gymnastics competition. No, I think it was spirit squad competition and basically ruined Degrassi's chances for winning. So basically, she's upset, and then she finds out that Craig didn't use protection, and so she doesn't know if she's pregnant or not. She basically talks to Spike, who is a teen mom, and all that. So basically, Spike says you're pregnant and tells Manny that maybe your family will be okay with it. I mean, my parents were cool with it somehow. But Manny said that no, because if she's just like her cousin Mary, she'll be sent from Canada to the Philippines to live in a convent for the rest of her life. Basically, she figures that her parents are going to basically ship her back to the Philippines for being pregnant and all that. So she doesn't know how to tell her parents. But worst of all for Manny, in a sense, is how Emma reacts. I mean, Emma's like, okay, Manny got pregnant, that you slut. Why did you go with Craig? And all that. But basically, Manny gets outed at school thanks to Ashley. But Ashley had a point. Like, Ashley outed it. I think she was just basically trying to get angry at Craig more so than Manny. And then for some strange reason, Ashley takes Craig back. Although Craig would still be with Manny and all that for a time being. End of season 3, early season 4. So basically, Emma is upset that Manny would consider an abortion, saying that it's the time it's right to get an abortion. And Emma says, what about the baby's rights? What about everyone's rights? Manny says, I just can't do it, Emma. Emma is pro-life. I mean, you can't blame Emma. After all, her pro-life thing basically was in season 2 when she was finding out that Spike got pregnant and she was going to abort the kid. And Spike said to Emma, I don't want the same mistake twice. And, Emma's upset that Spike thinks she's a mistake. And all that. I mean, Emma was easily triggered. But anyway, Manny's abortion and all that. Manny is upset that she didn't have the support of Emma. I mean, were they best friends at that time? I know that Manny and Emma broke off as best friends because Emma was upset that Manny chose looks over smarts and all that. But basically, she decides to tell Craig she's aborting the baby with her parents' blessing. And Craig says that it's my baby too and all that. He gets mad at Manny, and then Emma steps in and basically tells off Craig. Craig says, I don't want her to have the abortion. Emma says, I totally agree. But it's her body, and it's her right to choose. Now, a lot of people said, oh, well, Emma basically was just trying to preach to Manny because of what she did to Craig. But I think Emma, it's possible that Spike might have talked to her. And that, Emma could be pro-life, but support her best friend. And she basically says, if she wasn't my best friend, I'd be furious. I thought she and Manny stopped being friends. But I guess Emma realizes that she basically needs to cut Manny some slack. Well, Manny gets her abortion. Emma does say some stuff about that later on in the series, but yeah. A lot of people hated it. Vamp said, I can't stand Emma. She's a judgmental bitch. She's also a total hypocrite. Remember when Manny dated Damien from Lakehurst? Emma says, you're sleeping with the enemy. That bitch dated the guy who videotaped Manny while she was drunk. Who is Emma to judge? And that's true. It's like, and someone said, it was fair how she generalizes the whole Lakehurst as JT's killer when she's willing to forgive and forget with the guy who took advantage and ruined her best friend's life. So basically, that storyline was in season 6 when, JT got stabbed. Manny and Emma threw a party while Snake and Spike were gone, basically to help Liberty with her birthday. Sadly, though, Lakehurst knew about JT coming to the party and wanted to ruin JT's life for dating Mia and all that. So Johnny DeMarco and his gang basically wanted to hurt JT for going after Mia. And of course, they stabbed him in the aorta. Not Johnny, but Drake Lampley and all that. And, JT dies and all that. And a lot of people were like, how the heck is she so angry about Lakehurst and all that? This didn't affect her at all. This wasn't to do with her at all. But it did, because it was at a party that she should not have been hosting at the time. And then basically, JT died steps from her house. She had guilt. And I think she knew she had guilt. I think Spike and Snake knew she had lots of guilt. Like, I already did an unpopular opinion video talking why Emma in season 6 was right to be mad at Manny. Manny was living with Emma because her father was being unreasonable, and then Manny was told she can move back home. So she moves back home, leaving Emma high and dry. Manny doesn't seem to have time for Emma, even though Emma wants to talk about the issues. And worst of all, Lakehurst is coming for a cheerleading competition on the grassy soil. So Emma's like, what the heck is going on? Maybe in a way she said that Lakehurst shouldn't come to Degrassi because it's going to pull some bad feelings and all that. And then worst of all, Manny's dating Damien, who's the Lakehurst student president. If Manny was dating someone else, I think Emma would not have flipped out. But basically, a lot of things just snowballed and made Emma mad. Snake tells Emma that you're not mad about Lakehurst destroying JT. You're mad about Manny abandoning you and all that. So Emma decides she has to try. Like, Manny is mad. Emma's mad at Manny because she ignored Emma. And she took it out on the wrong case. But, they make up later on. That. And then somebody said, I agree completely. It seems like she was worse towards the women who were closest to her. Manny, Liberty, and her mom. I don't think Liberty was that close to Emma, if I may say so myself. Yeah, at the same time, she didn't seem to waste any time putting a guy between her friendship. Like dating Peter after he put up the thing up Manny online. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention about that. It's like, Yeah, I mean, what is with Emma being a feminist and all that? In season 5, she accuses Manny of stealing her guy. And then when it was found out that Peter was the bad guy all around, Emma decides to help Manny out. Manny got kicked out of her house. Emma boards Manny up and basically says that, I did this for you. No secrets between us. Well, then again, weird. And it's weird how Emma basically grew close to Peter, especially at the same time as her stepfather was growing to Hatzalakos, which is strange. But the stranger thing is that, why would she go after Peter? And to me, it's like season 4. I know you can agree with me or disagree. You'll probably disagree with me. But season 4, after what happened with the shooting and all that, it seemed that Emma's character reset. And I don't know if the writers purposely did that. to avoid a lot of people hating on Emma. Like the first 3.5 seasons, I think Emma was basically really hated for her feminist views. And then they decided to cut Emma down to size, basically trying to make her more human. Sadly, though, it made Emma a little more intolerable to some people's eyes. It's just basically you know, if Emma didn't have that guilt about the shooting and all that, and it wasn't her fault, the students took her crusade out of context and all that. Like, I think that basically, yeah, if Emma was the feminist she was in the first 3 seasons, she would never have been near Peter. So, anyway, yeah. People do contradict themselves all the time, someone said, especially with their kids. Satchel of Gold said, I'm Emma being anti-choice. Most people I know who have super young parents are not pro-choice, even if the rest of the political views are left. Watching the show, her views are not very feminist or progressive in general, but I'm roughly Emma's age, blah, 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 blah. She's extremely stubborn and lives on principle, not efficiency. And the public discourse about feminism is steeped in inaccuracies. Feminism is the radical notion that women are people. People are still hearing feminism and thinking bra burning, man hating, blah, blah, blah. And someone said, especially with Emma being anti-abortion. I mean, if Spike had an abortion way back when, Emma would not have been around. Being young and emotional and not having pregnancies were scared of her own yet till season 6. It makes sense Emma would be inclined to take that issues personally. And someone said, I think she represented the growing pains of figuring out what your identity values are. She thinks she's this activist, but the situations in her life force her to confront her gut judgments and whether they are right or wrong. I think she gets a lot better when she grows up. I had that part of my adolescence when I realized I thought I was so open-minded, but I was being judgmental or problematic. Yeah, exactly. I like that point. Giving it a Reddit point. Is that basically, yeah, she was trying to find out what her identity and values are, and basically it changed throughout the show in her 9 seasons of being on the show. So yeah, people said that Emma was at her worst when she was younger. Somebody said, remember, Manny wanted to join the Spirit Squad in season 1, and Emma wrote an article saying that cheerleading is sexist and that they're bimbos. The only reason she said it was sexist is tight sweaters and short skirts, but the team's uniforms haven't been designed yet. Well, that's probably, it's just basically, personal stuff to do with Emma. I mean, like, Emma may have heard about cheerleading squads and basically know how sexy they are and basically how they're portrayed as being, cheerleaders are portrayed to be dumb blondes or whatever they want to call it. I know Manny's not blonde. Manny was blonde in season 7. Why? I don't effing know. But basically, yeah, like, and Paige said, nobody's going to talk about being sexist. We're going to have our boys on the team. That doesn't mean sexist. Being sexist doesn't mean that it's gender sexism. No. Emma wouldn't have cared less if there were guys on the team. But basically, they said that cheerleaders are being objectified and all that. She was doing the right thing, trying to help Manny out, but Manny still was on Spirit Squad, and Emma basically went the wrong way. It's how I think people have told me. Is basically that Emma has the right idea when she plans this stuff out, but basically her execution misfires. Someone said Emma was a feminist in her mind and when it benefited her. How she reacted to Manny's pregnancy was absurd. You support a person's choice to choose, friend or not. But she did back off a bit. Yeah. Yeah. Someone even said that a memorable moment is Manny dating this guy named Sully instead of JT, and Emma went off on her. People aren't obligated to like someone just because they happen to like you. That's true. In season 3, when Manny decided to sexualize herself, and you got the look, with the thong outside the pants, and basically Raj saying that violates the school's dress code, and it does violate dress codes everywhere. So basically, Manny's upset, and she's like, "That's okay. I can always wear no underwear." And JT basically saves Manny from showing her bare butt. I think Emma basically wanted Manny to go after JT because JT saved you from public embarrassment with the no underwear thing. It should be a thankful one. Now Emma had the right idea in a sense, but Manny blew off at Emma, and I don't blame her. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Well, basically, Emma basically, you know, the problem is that when Emma and Manny broke off as friends in season 3, there was a good reason because Manny and Emma went to a rave, and Manny wanted Emma to be with Chris after Emma broke off with Sean, and Emma figured that Chris had a girlfriend and didn't want to be evil. Meanwhile, Manny got Craig from behind Ashley's back. So basically, Emma, I think, was pissed off that Manny would be hypocritical and all that. And, she had a right to get mad at Manny for all that. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. That's the thing with Emma is that basically her feminist things basically piss off a lot of people. I mean, like, I don't have the proper knowledge and all that because I'm a guy. But I do figure that there is a good reason why people hate Emma. She's judgmental. She basically makes things about herself. She has the right idea, being a friend and all that, but she just executes it terribly. And I don't blame a lot of people for not wanting to be around Emma. I mean, I think Manny is basically around Emma because she figures that Emma is self-explosive, whatever you want to call it. That Emma will probably self-destruct, and basically, all that. Liberty wasn't really that close to Emma. They were more frenemies in my mind. Like, Emma cut down on her views. Like, she wasn't as political as she was after the Rick Murray situation, and she basically said she lost her drive. Because what causes did she take up after season 4? Getting Sean out of jail in season 6 and the Purple Dragon in season 7. I think that Emma, in a sense, has the right idea, but basically her execution sucks. And, people are looking back at it. I know it was like 15 to 20 years ago of these episodes and all that, but basically we're looking at it that Emma is terrible. I don't think she's that bad of a character. It's just that, she was trying to grow up and find her identity. That person had it right on the freaking nose. So anyway, that's all I've got for this hot take. I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.